What is going on, ladies and gents? Happy Friday. We're here for Hammer Anytime, sponsored by Betfred Sportsbook. Here with my guy, Ian MacMillan. Ian, how we doing, my man? Happy Friday.
Happy Friday. Yeah, I'm doing great. It is Friday. It's actually a great slate of NFL games this Sunday, too. One of the better slates over the past few weeks. So I'm very excited for the weekend, very excited for Sunday, excited to get into it. It's fun to do a show with you, Krabs.
Hell yeah, and I like the decorations. I like the decor. I need to add some lights behind me as well, my man. It's the holiday season, and let's provide the public, let's provide the people some anytime touchdown winners so they can buy themselves some presents as well for the fam. Okay?
Yes.
Why not us?
Let's do it. Why not us? Why not us?
Here's how this is going to work, guys. We're going to do this every Friday. It's going to take about 20, 25 minutes. We'll keep it short and sweet. We're not going to bore you with, hour-long ATTS talk. We're going to be quick. We're going to give you winners. We're going to spoon feed them. We're going to start with 3 tiers, tier 1, tier 2, and tier 3. Obviously, tier 1 is our best pick for Sunday. Tier 2 and then tier 3. We're going to start at the bottom and work our way up to our favorite picks at the end. Does that sound like a plan, Ian?
Yes. Sounds good to
Awesome.
me.
Awesome. Well, let's kick it off. Let's get it started. We're not going to spend too much time on these tier 3s, but we've got some winners for the people. So listen up, click your pens, get your notebooks out. And unclog those ears. So let's get to work. All right. I'm going to start it off with a guy most people haven't even heard of, to be honest with you. My guy, Zonovan Knight, Bam Bam from NC State, the rookie running back. There's going to be no Michael Carter this week for the Jets. I like Zonovan at consensus plus 120 here to score a touchdown anytime on Sunday. Minnesota, they're a bottom 10 team and giving up rushing touchdowns this season. Again, like I said, no Michael Carter. I also like how the total has gone up in this game since it's opened, which is telling me this game's going to go over and we're going to see more points generally. I also thought it was a little weird that my guy Zonovan had shorter odds than Ty Johnson, who's ahead of him on the depth charts. He's sitting at plus 240, but the rookie Zonovan is sitting only at plus 120. I think they're going to want to see what the rookie has. They didn't pick up this kid for nothing. He had a heck of a week last week with 14 carries and 69 yards. Nice. I think he's going to get his first career touchdown in the NFL this Sunday. Get pay dirt. When the lines are talking, you got to listen. There's a reason this kid has shorter odds than James Robinson. There's a reason this kid has shorter odds than the backup Ty Johnson, okay? It's because he's finding pay dirt. Plain and simple. Give me Bam Knight, plus 120.
I love it. Yeah, especially I'm turning into a Jets guy. I bet on the Jets to win the Super Bowl this week at 70-1. So let's go Zonovan Knight. Lead the Jets on a little run for me. We are starting tier 3 here. So I'm going to start off with the one that is the simplest one, the most straightforward one for me. And this is a Sunday Night Football bet. Dalton Schultz, tight end for the Dallas Cowboys. He's just a guy I've been betting on to score a touchdown quite often this season. And he has 3 touchdowns over his last 3 games, and they seem to be using him a little bit more often in recent weeks, especially last week. He played 84% of offensive snaps. And the Colts don't have a great red zone defense either. I think they're 22nd in red zone touchdown scoring percentage on defense. So, pretty straightforward pick for me. Consensus odds at around plus 170. I like this Dalton Schultz guy. I think they've been using him a lot lately. A little bet for Sunday Night Football. I love these anytime touchdown bets in primetime games. I think those are the best games to do it.
100%. And our guy Badman in chat saying he never thought he'd bet on Zonovan Knight. Well, that's how you know you got a good pick. You can't just take Stephon Diggs every week, although he's been scoring. You can't just take, what makes sense every week. I love the pick, Dalton Schultz. Seems like he's back on track now that Dak is back and healthy. That's his guy. And that's my fantasy tight end. So I'm super cool with him finding pay dirt. Although I do hate the Cowboys, I'm okay with this. I'll give it a pass. Give it a pass this week. All right. I'm going to go to my guy, Josh Jacobs. Look, I'm not going to sit up here and try to act smart, giving you Josh Jacobs anytime touchdown at consensus minus 165. There's a reason he's consensus minus 165. It's because he's finding pay dirt. Okay. He's going against the worst rush defense in the NFL this year in the Chargers. And the dude's been absolutely tweaking. He's a freak. And they're going to continue to feed him the ball because it's the only thing on their offense is consistent and working. So Josh Jacobs, once in the doghouse before the season, he's turned out to have one of the biggest breakout seasons in football, especially for a running back at least. Give me him to find pay dirt. Not a lot of value, but he's getting in the end zone at minus 165.
I like it, and I'm actually going to stay on the same team here. So you're going to take Josh Jacobs. You're going to take the chalky pick. I'm going to go with this is my biggest long shot by far. If you want to sprinkle on a crazy bet, how about Zamir White? How about the backup to Josh Jacobs?
All right.
Now, the reason why his odds are so big, and this is probably a little bit of a tricky bet, and it's probably not going to hit, but I mean 8-1, is nobody else on the Raiders really runs the ball. Except for Josh Jacobs. Zamir White has the second most carries this season out of the running backs, and I think he only has 10 carries. But you mentioned it, going up against the Chargers, the worst run defense in the NFL, 5.4 yards per carry they're allowing. And also Josh Jacobs, his health is a little bit in question. I'm sure he will play. It looks like he's just not going to practice this week, but he will play. But who knows? Maybe he tweaks something during the game. They got to go with someone else after that. Maybe Zamir White, because he has had the most carries behind Josh Jacobs so far this season. Maybe they go with him. Who knows? At 8-1, if you're looking for a crazy long shot to sprinkle a couple of dollars on, why not Zamir White?
Why not? It's good value play. Here's what's going to happen. My guy, Josh Jacobs, he's going to have like a 70-yard run, get tripped up at like the 1 and be too tired to run the next play. They're going to put your guy in. He's going to score, and you're going to be rich.
That would work for me.
Exactly what's going to happen.
And then Josh Jacobs can score later in the game, so you can win too. So we're both happy.
Garbage time. Give it to me.
Yes.
All right. I've got a value play too, but not 8-1. Jeesh. I've got 4-1 consensus. My guy, Jonathan Williams, the third string on the Commanders. I guess fourth string, you could call him if you want to include J.D. McKissick, but he's out the rest of the year. And also, unfortunately, my guy, Antonio Gibson, I think he's going to play, but he's really banged up too. And they also just haven't been using him as much recently, which is dumb, in my opinion, but they're not. They're absolutely feeding B-Rob, but also Jonathan Williams, the Redskins camp, they're obviously my team, right? I follow them a ton. All the reporters are coming out saying this kid has been an absolute issue at practice. His effort level is through the roof. I think the coaches, a guy like Ron Rivera, he loves that shit. And we've seen Jonathan Williams get the rock a little bit the last, week or two. I think because he's been absolutely balling in practice and he's been that effort guy who's been going above and beyond. So I think they reward him. I think they feed him the rock. These odds were way shorter than I expected. I thought he'd be like 8-1. He's the fourth string running back. And Gibson and B-Rob are probably going to get, 95% of the carries here. But he's a big back. He's a bruiser. And I think if we need to get, a yard or two, if we're on the 1 or 2 yard line, and B-Rob's a little tired, maybe in the second half, they put in the hard worker, Jonathan Williams, and reward him for being a grinder at practice, and he finds pay dirt at +400 consensus. All right?
Love it. So my final pick of the third tier, and then I believe we're going to move on to the second tier. I, of course, for the first edition of the show, I got to give out an Atlanta Falcons. So I'll go with Drake London, around +270. Steelers are giving up the most passing touchdowns per game in the NFL this season, giving up 2.1 passing touchdowns per game. Drake London already has 4 touchdowns on the year. He does kind of seem to be a red zone target for him, so I'm a little bit surprised his odds are as long as they are. And then, of course, Kyle Pitts is out, so that's one less target. So really now Drake London's kind of the last legitimate receiving option they have. So, once again, it's kind of surprising that he's at around +270. With being really the only receiving option. And obviously the Falcons don't run the ball a lot. That's kind of the biggest issue for him scoring. And Marcus Mariota certainly isn't a top-tier quarterback that can get him the ball. But if someone's going to score in the red zone, one of the receivers, I think it's going to be Drake London. So I'll take him at +270 as my dirty bird pick of the play, or pick of the show.
All right. No more Kyle Pitts for the season, right? Maybe they try to use Drake London, the guy they drafted in the first rounds, and stop ignoring him for, the last 2 months. Because I don't know what the heck they're doing. Drafted the kid in fantasy. He had a good week or two. I was like, heck yeah, good pick. Sleeper. Kid hasn't done anything in 2 months. So maybe they give him the rock. All right. He also has the drops a little bit. Has he been dropping some balls?
I mean, he is a rookie. Yeah. I'll give him a little bit of a pass. But yeah,
give him a little pass. Well, they need to give him the rock. They didn't draft him for nothing.
Sphinx Angles says hard for Drake London to score if the Falcons don't score a touchdown. Rude. How dare you? That is, hey, if my Falcons win and the Buccaneers lose on Monday night to the Saints, guess who's in sole possession of first place in the NFC South? My Atlanta Falcons. Just saying.
Well, that is sad. That is sad.
It is sad.
But true and good for you. And a little bonus pick here on the side. I love the Falcons this week. I'll probably be on them against the Steelers. After the Steelers had a great win, I think it's going to be an overreaction. Give me the Falcons who've been struggling. And that line's moved from +2.5 to +1.
Love it.
I love that movement as well. I like your Falcons. All right, feed Drake London. Let's get him in the end zone. Let's win a game.
Yes.
All right. Tier 2. All right, let's move up to Tier 2. We like these picks better. We each have 2 of these. I'll start it off with my guy, Benny Snell. We know Najee Harris is banged up. I don't think he's going to play from what I've been seeing. And to be honest with you, with the Steelers sitting at 4-7, and with Mike Tomlin making it very clear in the beginning of the season, and with how they've been using Najee Harris, the last, honestly, the whole season, he has not been the workhorse back. They don't want to overuse him because they know, they're not a playoff team anyways yet. They're still trying to figure out Kenny Pickett. And I don't think it's their time to really overuse a guy like Najee and get him hurt or anything like that, especially when he's really banged up right now. Like I said, I really don't think he's going to play, and I don't think Tomlin's going to push him to play when they're probably not going to make the playoffs. And I also think that he's not going to play because that line has moved. I think it has something to do with it a little bit because Najee has been playing pretty decent of late, but he's hurt. I don't think he plays. And look, most people are going to be going to Jaylen Warren, right? He's the backup on the depth chart. He's been pretty decent this year, but he's been hurt too. Apparently, he's going to be back. Everyone's saying he's the trendy pickup. Ian, I like Benny Snell at way better value here at +265 consensus. Sure, you could take Jaylen Warren, who's probably going to start at +140 if you want, but I want to take Benny Snell at a way better number here when he's coming off of 12 carries and 62 yards with a touchdown last week. I think they use both running backs. So I'll take the value here on a coin flip with whatever one gets in the end zone. One of them at least is. So I'll take the better odds with that.
Yeah, I love it. As you mentioned, he did have a great game last week. We're 5 yards a carry, 5.17 yards per carry last week. So they might just ride with Benny Snell a little bit. The more experienced back, too. Obviously, he's played for them for a couple years now. So I'm going to stay in the same game now. We were just complimenting my Falcons, and now we're both kind of shitting on them by taking their opponents to score a touchdown, because I do too, because I'm taking George Pickens. Sure. +220 to score a touchdown here. I think what you have to do with the Falcons is target the second receiver playing against them, because Casey Hayward's out for them. I am not going to pick who I think is their number one receiver, Deontay Johnson. I'm not going to pick him because I assume that's who AJ Terrell is going to be lined up against. I love AJ Terrell. He's my favorite player on the team. So I'm going to go with who I think will be lined up against the number 2 corner, and that's George Pickens. So I'll take him at +220. Falcons giving up 1.5 passing touchdowns per game this season. And Kenny Pickett, some nice progression from him over his last few games. Like you look at his quarterback rating, 66.2, then up to 66.9, 79.7, 85.9, and then up to 87.5 this past weekend. So no passing touchdown. Actually, he hasn't thrown a touchdown in 3 of his last 4 games. So he's got to throw some touchdowns here. So I'll take him to hit George Pickens in the end zone against my Falcons.
I like it. Feed the young gun. He's a stud.
Yes.
All right. I'm going to go to Dameon Pierce, a familiar name in the ATTS realm here at +105 consensus. Look, this Cleveland defense has been extremely disappointing. Their rush defense blows. Pierce is back healthy. We know Davis Mills blows, their quarterback. The only way they find any success is feeding their stud, Dameon Pierce. I think they continue to do that. It's really the only way they can move the rock at all. So against this poor Cleveland rush defense, I'll take Dameon Pierce to find pay dirt. He's the only one on this team I think is going to find the end zone really in this game at +105 consensus. Surprised this was still plus money. It scares me a little bit, but I like it. I think he gets in the end zone.
I have Dameon Pierce on all of my fantasy teams, so I need a bit of a bounce back week from him. So, yep, I certainly like that pick. My second tier 2 pick is probably the pick that you're going to see given out the most on social media leading up to the game, but I don't care. I'll fall for it. Give me A.J. Brown to score for the Eagles against the Titans. Listen, I hate the revenge narrative. I would never bet a spread or like a money line based on the revenge narrative, but maybe there's something to be said when it comes to touchdown scores. Maybe the Eagles might want to get him in the end zone against his former team. So maybe there's something to that. Who knows? But the Titans are 28th in opponent passing touchdowns per game, giving up 1.7 passing touchdowns per game. And 75.9% of the yards gained against the Titans comes through the air. That is the highest percentage in the NFL as well. So the Eagles receivers are going to have a good game here. A.J. Brown, find the end zone against his former team, +130.
I like it. Gosh, he's been a stud. I was wrong about him. I was saying that was a dumb signing. Jalen Hurts is a runner. it's going to be a waste, and I look like a fool. He's been a stud this season. He probably does find the end zone again.
He needs to stop fumbling, though. He's fumbled some bad fumbles this year. Yeah.
That would help. That would help him get in the end zone for sure. I'm not the biggest fan of him as a Commanders fan. He's a stud. And he's going to terrorize us for the next couple of years. Awesome. Anyways, let's hop up to Tier 1, our favorite ATTS of the weekend. Gosh, I love my pick. I'll get us kicked off right here. Mine's a plus money too. Barely, but count it. Give me my guy B-Rob, who I mentioned earlier at plus 110 consensus. It's pretty clear that this Commanders team has finally found their identity. Thank God. Run the damn ball and play defense. That's what they do. Taylor Heineke's a winner, but the guy's not Tom Brady. The guy's not Pat Mahomes. So you got to minimize his attempts. You got to minimize his mistakes. And against this atrocious rush defense, it's giving up 5.2 yards per carry, second worst in the NFL. It's very clear to me that our offensive coordinator, who's not the sharpest tool in the shed and very simple-minded, is probably going to hand the ball to B-Rob here 30 times. And it's going to work, I think. I'm sketched out about the game, I'll be honest with you, as a fan of the team. But with McKissick out and Gibson banged up, this is a no-brainer for me. They're going to continue to feed B-Rob. He looked the best he's looked all season last week. He even said he feels like he's getting his feet back under him after getting shot in the beginning of the season. People forget this dude got shot, and he's playing.
That's a fact.
Balling. Yeah, people forget. Nuts. And now the dude's tweaking, coming off his best career game. There's a reason we drafted this kid, even though we had Gibson on our team already. It's because we love him, and he's a stud, and he's going to absolutely tweak against a terrible rush defense and the Giants coming up here on Sunday at MetLife. Give me B-Rob plus 110 to find pay dirt.
I like that. Let me ask you this. Do the Washington Commanders make the playoffs, yes or no?
We do.
Oh,
we do.
Right.
We do. We have to split against the Giants at least.
Yes.
And we're going to.
Yes.
I was shocked to see us open up as a favorite on the road. I was shocked.
It's an interesting game. One of many interesting games on Sunday. Might not be the sexiest game as a non-Giants or Commanders fan, but it's interesting. I'll give it that.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to go my best bet to score a touchdown on Sunday. I'm going to go with a former Atlanta Falcon. I'm going to go with Hayden Hurst, the Bengals tight end, at around plus 250 here. Chiefs, surprisingly, actually maybe not totally surprising because they were bad in this area last year too, but dead last in red zone defense. They're allowing their opponents to score a touchdown on over 70% of their trips to the red zone. That usually is good news for opposing tight ends, and they're allowing the second most passing touchdowns per game, giving up 2 passing touchdowns per game. So that's going to bode well for the Bengals pass catchers. And I don't know if you saw this, Krabs, but there was like some trash talk between the two teams. There's a weird clip by Justin Reed because he was trashing a Bengals player, but you couldn't really tell who it was. But then he did clarify on Twitter that he was talking about Hayden Hurst. So maybe there is some revenge factor here as well. Maybe they want to shut Justin Reed up and get Hayden Hurst a touchdown. So a plus 250 for the tight end to score against the Chiefs passing defense that hasn't done well, especially down in the red zone. I'll take a shot on that as my best touchdown score bet of the weekend.
And game script wise, absolutely love it. The Bengals is my favorite play of the weekend. The total's gone up from 51 to 53. We're getting points in this game. That's a fact. Let's hope your guy Hayden Hurst joins the party, right?
Former Falcon,
your guy. And hey, for not believing in revenge angles, you had a couple today.
Yes. Yes. Like I said, I hate them for spreads and money lines and betting on a team, but maybe there's something to them for when it comes to player props. We'll find out.
It's like the Michael Jordan meme. He took this one personally. Let's see if Hayden Hurst can get in the end zone and get a little shot back at the Chiefs. I love this pick. So B-Rob and your guy Hayden Hurst, tier 1. Those are our favorite ATS of the weekend. Ian, really appreciate you coming on here with me. I told you guys we keep this short and sweet. All right, so hammer anytime. We're going to run this every Friday. We'll keep it quick. Winners only, presented by our guys, Betfred. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Have a great Friday, and good luck this weekend, okay? Bet responsibly. We'll be seeing.
Good luck.
We'll be seeing.